do decoding of the cash flow statement in the same way as we have done it for balance sheet and for P&L. So first of all, we need to understand as regards the cash flow statement as to what are the types of the cash flows that we have. And the good news is there are only three types of the cash flows when it comes to the preparation of the cash flow statement or interpretation of the cash flow statement. Friends, remember, we just need to understand three types of the cash flow. So which are those three types of the cash flow? The first one is cash flow from the operating activities. That means what? That means cash flow that Maruti is generating, Tata Motors is generating, Tata Steel is generating, Bajaj Auto is generating from their operations, and that is known as cash flow from the operating activities. Now this cash flow from the operating activities will comprise of two components. One is the profit which is earned from the operations of the company, and the second component is changes in the working capital. Changes in the working capital. So the cash flow from the operating activities will have two components. One is profit that you are earning, that is of course your cash generated from the operations, right? And second thing is which is known as change in the working capital. Now friends, this again is very important because uh, increase in the working capital will mean that so much of cash has been consumed in the working capital. So this is a bad sign. But if the working capital is reduced by let's say 50 crore by a company, that means 50 crore cash is now available. That means this 50 crore has got generated from the operating activities of a business, and that of course is a good sign. So number one, the first type of the cash flow that you have is cash flow from the operating activities. The second one is cash flow from the investing activities. Now, what is the meaning of cash flow from the investing activities? Very simple. Any business, be it ArcelorMittal, be it Tata Steel, be it Daewoo, be it Hyundai, be it General Motors, any company is will always strive to grow. No company, remember, on this earth would be interested in stagnation. No company on this earth would like to remain in the same at the same level that they are today. All the companies world over are constantly trying to grow, growing organically, growing inorganically, but they are trying to grow. So that means what? That means if a company has to grow, company has to make a lot of investment. Investment in what? Investment in the assets. So whenever a company is making investment in a new asset, that is cash flow from the investing activities. Or when a company is divesting an asset, that is also going to be part of the cash flow from the investing activities. The only difference is, and please pay attention here, the only difference is when a company is buying new assets, this is cash flow from the investing activities, but here it is going to be negative cash flow. And why it is going to be negative cash flow? Because when you are investing your money into new assets, you are getting new assets, and for those new assets you are paying money to the supplier, and that means cash is going out of the business. And the other way, the opposite is when you dispose of an asset for whatever reason. Sometimes, as I was discussing with you a little while ago, that company's balance sheet is in a bad shape and they need to restructure the balance sheet or strengthen the balance sheet. So one of the things that the company could do, in case it was having some idle assets, non-operating idle assets, what this company could do? This company could sell those assets. And so when the company is selling the assets are going out, but the money is coming in, cash is coming in, and that means it is going to be positive cash flow from the investing activities, Now number three is cash flow from the financing activities. Now let's understand what does it mean. It means when a business is wanting to grow, this business will have to incur capital expenditure. Now when the business has to incur capital expenditure, it will need money. So money has to come from somewhere. If the money has to come from somewhere, where can this money come from? So first of all, remember, this money will come from the operating activities. That means if a company wants to grow, it has to incur a capital expenditure, and for incurring the capital expenditure, this company will have to make payment, and where the money will come from the operating activities, that is from your EBITDA, from your profit after tax, from your cash accrual. So that is one source. But remember, will that source be enough? Because companies set up plants worth 5,000 crore, 10,000 crore, 1 lakh crore, and so on and so forth. Whereas the profits may be only 5%, 10%, or 20% of that. So, which means the profits that the company is generating will not be enough to take care of the capital expenditure requirement. So that means the money has to come from somewhere now, and where it has to come from now, this has to come from by way of raising fresh equity or by way of raising fresh debt. So what is the meaning what is the meaning of cash flow from the financing activities? The meaning of cash flow from the financing activities is to raise money through the debt or equity, or to repay the debt that you may have taken, or to buy back your own share is also part of the cash flow from the financing activities. Now, with this understanding, and I'm sure all of you are absolutely clear about it as to what is the what is operating cash flow, what is investing cash flow, and what is financing cash flow. With this understanding, let us go to our next topic and understand now the cash flow statement line by line as we have done it so far. Shivam, we can take two questions before we start discussing it. Any two questions?